feel as though life is a grind? Like from one day to the next, you are just plodding through life doing the very same thing you did the day before. Like each day you get yourself up in the morning, you get your kids going and you get them out the door so that they can get to school on time. And then you go do your 9 to 5, whatever that is. And then you go pick up your kids from school, you go run a few errands, rush them to soccer practice, and then rush them home to make them dinner to ensure there's enough time for them to do their homework, and then you send them to bed, all so you can do the very same thing the very next day. And when you live life in those spaces, it's really easy to wonder, is this the best that life has to offer? Because we live in this world that's created this expectation that life should always be exciting. It should always be adventurous, and there should always be something new that's on the horizon. And sometimes we bring that expectation into our spiritual lives. Like we should always be living on mountaintop moments where the presence of God is palpable and breaking through into our lives. You know, there's this story in the book of Luke chapter 9, where Jesus is on a prayer hike with a few of his disciples. And it seems as though the disciples aren't expecting a whole lot to happen on this prayer hike, because we read once they get to the place where they were going to pray this. It says in verse 32 that Peter and his companions were very sleepy. Now, maybe they were a little bit tired from this hike they just went on with Jesus, but I gotta wonder if maybe their mindset was, well, we've done this prayer hike with Jesus dozens of times. We know where we're going. We're going to pray for a little while, and then we're going to walk back down and go home. Almost as though there was very little expectation of anything exciting going to happen. But then they were jolted awake because Jesus all of a sudden transforms in front of them. His face is bright and glowing. We read that his clothes are white as could be, and light is emanating from him. And then Moses shows up, and Elijah is there, and all of a sudden they are transfixed by what is going on around them. But as quickly as Jesus was transformed, he goes back to the way that he was before. And then this cloud covers the mountain, and there's this voice that comes from the cloud saying, "This is my son, whom I have chosen. Listen to him." You know, sometimes I wonder if maybe the thing that we need to expect isn't so much for Jesus to come crashing into our lives, to have these big, wonderful moments where the heavens split and his presence comes down and it's overwhelming and it's palpable and it's powerful. But maybe the thing we need to do is we need to ask Jesus to help us cultivate eyes to see him and ears to hear him, specifically in the mundane, routine places of life. Because the reality is, that's where we live the majority of our lives. There's this song that we sing at our church from time to time that says, "Open up our eyes to see you in the ordinary. We don't want to miss it anymore. Open up our eyes to see that every day, everything is burning with the glory of the Lord." See, there will be these times in your spiritual life. Well, it will be a mountaintop experience, and it will be amazing, and it will feel and seem as though Jesus is present with you physically in that space. But then there's going to be lots of other times when life is routine and mundane, and the call for us to live as faithful followers of Jesus is to cultivate eyes to see and ears to hear that Jesus is present with us in those routine, mundane rhythms of life. So as you go about your day today, pray that God would give you eyes to see that he is present with you, that he would give you ears to hear his voice speaking to you, and that even in the mundane present moments of life, you would see that everything everywhere is burning with His glory. Grace and peace to you.